Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all healthy and safe at home. We shall continue with our section on linear functionals. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about what is meant by bounded linear functions in a norm space. Okay, so from the word bounded itself, you guys might having a picture of the definition of bounded linear functionals. So let's see if x equal to e comma norm. Let x be a norm space, then a functional f belongs to E hash is said to be bounded if there exists a c greater than 0 such that mod f of x is less than or equal to c into norm x. This must be true for every x belongs to E. Okay. So what is the condition? Just remember what is the condition. Modulus of f of x, that functional is said to be bounded if modulus of f of x is always less than or equal to c into norm of x. So we are comparing it with the norm, that's why we call it the bounded linear functionals in norm space. And we denote the set of all or the collection of all bounded linear functionals by x star. Okay, if x is the norm space, then the collection of all bounded linear functionals on x is denoted by x star. Now let's see a few properties regarding the same. X star will form a linear space, that is which can be proved easily. That is, if you are considering any two elements in x star, say f and g, two linear functionals, then we just have to check whether the linear combination, that is alpha f plus beta g for some alpha and beta belongs to R or C, are also bounded. Okay, you can just verify that. Now since we are dealing with norm space, what we are going to do is we are going to define a function norm star of f, which is nothing but supremum x not equal to 0 mod f of x by norm x. Okay, why have we taken x not equal to 0? Just to bring clarity to the definition of division by norm of x. If x is not 0, then norm of x is also not 0, so this term is valid. So what is norm star f? It is nothing but supremum of mod f of x by norm x. Now since f is bounded, there will be no problem in defining such a function. Now this function can also be written as supremum of norm x equal to 1 mod f of x. Both are same. Okay, if norm x is 1, what will this term be? It will be supremum norm x is equal to 1 mod f of x. So I want you guys to right now check two things. One is to verify whether the x star given is a linear space, and the other one is to check whether this function that we have defined here forms a norm or not. You have to just check the three properties of the norm. So we get that x star is a linear space, and with this function defined, it is a norm. You can just verify it. It will form a normed space also. And if you see by this definition, norm star f is the supremum of norm x equal to 1 mod f of x, right? So it is a supremum of all such f of x. So modulus f of x will definitely be less than or equal to norm star f, right? So it is mod f of x is less than or equal to norm star f into norm x. What is norm star f? It is nothing but supremum of mod f of x, where norm x is 1. So here norm star of f will be supremum mod f of x, and norm x is 1 means this will turn to 1. So this is easy. We can easily form this inequality by the definition of the norm. So just verify whether the space is linear and whether the given defined function forms a norm or not. It is a much easy proof. And remember this inequality also, because we are going to use this inequality in some of the proofs for the various theorems which we will be doing later on. So mod f of x is less than or equal to norm star f into norm x. So next we shall move on to the proposition 2.3.3. Proposition is simple. If f is a bounded functional, if and only if it is a continuous functional. Okay, so the boundedness and the continuity are linked to one another. So let's see how we can move on to the proof of this. F is bounded if and only if f is continuous. So we know what is the meaning of f being bounded. So there must exist some c greater than 0 such that mod f of x is less than or equal to c into norm x. That is the definition which we have seen right now. And for f to be a continuous linear functional, the condition is if xn converges to some x, then f of xn must converge to f of x. So this is the condition for f to be continuous. So now we are going to prove that this is an if and only if condition. So first of all, let us suppose that the functional f is bounded. Okay, so this implies by definition there exists a c greater than 0 such that mod f of x is less than or equal to c into norm x. Okay, so this is what we have with us, and let us we need to show that f is continuous. So for that, if xn converges to x, we need to show that f of xn converges to f of x. So let us suppose that xn converge to a point, say x dot. Okay, now we'll have f of xn minus f of x dot. Okay, modulus of f of xn minus modulus of f of x dot can be written as modulus of f of xn minus x dot. Why? F is a linear functional, and we know f is not only linear, it is bounded also. So this will be less than or equal to c into norm of xn minus x dot. Now we have assumed that xn tends to x dot, so this will tend to 0. So when xn tends to x dot, we get f of xn converges to f of x dot, and hence f is continuous functional. Okay, so this was a very simple proof. Now let's see how we can do the converse part. Conversely, we are going to suppose that f is continuous, right? F is a continuous functional, and let us assume that xn is any sequence which converges to 0. Now since f is continuous, we can say that f of xn converges to f of 0, and f of 0 is 0, right? Now we'll prove this by assuming the contrapposto. That is, if we consider that our function is not bounded, okay, we are going to reach into a contradiction. So if suppose f is not bounded, then we can find, then for every n element of capital N, we can find an xn such that modulus of f of xn is greater than n. Okay, so that is for every n we can find some sequence xn such that modulus f of xn is greater than n. So from this inequality, what can we get? We can get that mod f of xn by n is greater than 1, right? Now since we had assumed that xn converges to 0, we can see that xn by n will tend to 0. Okay, as xn tends to 0, xn by n will also tend to 0. So since f is a linear functional which is continuous, f of xn by n should also converge to 0, right? F of xn by n should also converge to f of 0, that is 0. But what have we got here? We have got that modulus f of xn by n is greater than 1, or in this can be written as f is linear, right? So we can write this as f of xn by n, right? We will take n out common since f is linear, so this is greater than 1. So which will be a contradiction to the fact that f of xn by n converges to 0. So we obtained a contradiction because we suppose that, or we assume that f is not bounded. So if f is continuous, f has to be bounded. So we have proved that the if and only if condition, that is if f is bounded, then it has to be continuous, and if f is continuous, it has to be bounded. So that was the proof of our proposition 2.3.3, which was pretty much simple. So with this we shall wind up today's session. So thank you all. Stay home, stay safe.